We're still kicking.
Yes, indeed. What do we got this week?
I have nothing. You gotta give me a topic or something, cause
I have to give you a
I'm
topic
just I'm
today.
I'm dead tired this week for some reason.
Oh,
Really out of it.
some weeks it's just they get tiring.
I only watched the movie an hour ago. I finished it an hour ago. I literally I cut it that close.
That is pretty close.
That's the closest so far. I think I've done it where I watched it. I think with maybe 3 hours to spare before the podcast, which is fine. That's okay. It gives me plenty of time. But this is like, man, now it's clear as day in my head. So we gotta talk about something else so that I forget all about it.
So that you forget about the movie.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What do we got?
We could talk about Ghost of Yotei, but not about the game, but about whether you would want to live in that society.
No.
But now we can talk about it in depth. Why do you not want to live in that society?
Okay, well, let's frame the question first.
Right, so Ghost of Yotei is set in old Japan, back in the days of samurai and people getting chopped into bits with swords.
1600s Japan.
1600s? Okay, wow, that's pretty recent, actually, if you think about it. But yeah, and so the question is, because you've been playing it, you're one of those people who chops people up, and the question is, would you want to live in that society?
And the short answer is no, not a chance.
But long answer is yes, with a few caveats.
No, I would not. I don't know at what point it would be okay to live in Japan or China, like where that line is.
Probably after World War II, right? At least. But even many decades after, because they took a long time for Japan, at least, to rebuild.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing with those two countries in large, and a lot of countries were like that, just for whatever reason. I guess just what from media depicts, because I actually don't know much about it, like otherwise. But my understanding is it's just a really long line of people conquering people. And it's just a long line of raiding and pillaging and raping and killing. And
But isn't that every country? Like England was doing that.
yeah,
All the other European countries were doing that. I feel like that's just everywhere.
it's true, but a lot of those other countries were doing it on like a global scale.
Oh, I see. They weren't doing it on their home turf. They were pillaging
Yeah.
outside of their borders, whereas Japan
Like
and
in
China were
Japan
just
and
like,
China, it was like, here comes this lord, and then there's another lord, and they're coming through, and then you get like the big raiders like Genghis Khan, and I know that was not
He was
the
a big
1600s,
deal.
that was the 13 or 1200s or whatever it was. So you get the Khans that come through, and like they're not doing it to themselves, they're doing it or they're not doing it to other countries or whatever, they're doing it to, which maybe these places in some way were split up differently back then, but they're coming through and they're going from village to village, and they get to a stronghold and with another lord, and they topple it, and then some other lord from some other part of the country comes along, and again just a string of raping and pillaging and killing, and then they take over the castle. And and I don't know how historically accurate that is. I guess I really just kind of sort of get that from Wuja video games. So, but it seems like there's a lot, and I know a lot of these were historical figures. I don't think anything in Yotei. I think Yotei was entirely. I mean, Tsushima was too, but I think these were entirely fabricated plots and even people. But in Tsushima, it had one of the cons. So I think that while the premise was not necessarily true to life, like everybody knows how Genghis Khan was.
mm-hmm. But he was Mongolian, so it's a bit different.
But still, he was kind of like a band of raiders that came through and conquered everything.
He was just like one day he woke up and like, you know what? I'm going to take over half the world. And then he did.
So I don't know. It's very scary back then.
Japan, I don't know why it is for China, but Japan is like, because it's an island, I feel like it would be very difficult for them to go and try to conquer outside of Japan. Hence, maybe this is why they stuck to Japan. But yeah, you're right. It was just over and over again. Like, there's plenty of anime that depict that. There's video games, movies. Yeah, it's not a pleasant society to be in. I personally, like, let's say you go back to your teenage days, childhood days, and you watch one of these or you play one of these. I don't know about you, but like back then I was like, oh yeah, I want to be a badass like this. But now looking back on it and now thinking about like, do I really want to be the person who's killing all these other people? Because in the end, what's going to happen? Okay, well, you're not going to settle down. You're not going to have a life after that. You're either going to kill yourself, you're going to die, or you're going to be morbidly depressed for your whole life anyway. Now that I think about it, it's like, nah, I wouldn't want to be in there, regardless of who I was.
And this is where This is where the media depictions come in. You're not just some solo ninja hero, you know? Like, that's not really how it is. It's not how it is anywhere. So you're not going to be some badass, you know, samurai or ninja or shinobi or friggin' whatever that's going to go down in history. Like, that's just not something that happens. You know, you're part of a group and you're working for a lord, and it's the lord. And, you know, even when it comes to samurai, like, samurai weren't all these badass things. Samurai was just like a title given by a lord, and you could become a samurai and some, you know, housing and, you know, maybe a few benefits. I mean, you could be a servant to a lord and they could have given you the title samurai.
So it's that easy.
Well, it's not necessarily an easy thing. It's not like every servant did, but, you know, like right hand men and all that, they were given, you know, the title samurai, but really they were just servants. So it's not like, it's kind of like being given the title of
Duke?
yeah, maybe something like that.
Duke and Duchess?
In the Western world. Yeah.
So that's pretty miserable then, because Duke and Duchess doesn't mean anything. Like, I thought samurai were trained in some way, but I guess you can just be a samurai without any sort of training.
I think they'll still
weaponry.
train you and stuff, but it's not like you're going around doing a bunch. You weren't necessarily going around doing a bunch of stuff.
What about the armor that they wear? You don't get to wear that fancy armor
I think that's what's ceremonial.
with the beetle helmet.
I think for the large part that was mostly just ceremonial.
Oh wow, man! Did you learn all this from Ghost of Yotei and Tsushima?
No, mostly Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Wow, I can't believe it. So Assassin's Creed Shadows is so good for teaching people. That's great. Everybody play Assassin's Creed Shadows.
That's right. It's supposed to be very historic. You know, they got their history modes and all that kind of stuff. No, I've read up on some of this. Stuff. You know, sometimes things lead you down a rabbit hole.
Is it Shadow or Shadows? I never remember.
Shadows.
With an S, okay. There's multiple shadows.
Yeah. So samurai, you know, they could be, it says members of warrior class. They could be commanders.
They could be children.
They started out as provincial warriors who served the Kuge and imperial court in the 12th century.
I think if I was living in that time, I would want to be one of those dancers, you know, the weird opera-esque thing that they would do where you're all painted white like a ghost. You know, the yelling that they do sometimes, like, oh, I would want to do that. I think that would be fun. I think that would be like the least violent occupation. It's like a court jester in the Western world. Wouldn't you want to be a court jester? I think that would be ideal. You get to make fun of everybody, but without any sort of repercussions. So really, it's like being a comedian now.
Yeah, maybe.
Do they have that in Yotei, by the way? Do they have this any sort of mini game like that, or even just a cutscene? No, really? No. Maybe that started after. Because I know you play the shamisen. I mean, come on, I know you play the shamisen. It's not just like killing people all the time.
You do. You play it, yeah.
I've seen you gambling as well. How does that gambling game work? Because anytime you do it, you look so focused. So like, do you have to use the touchpad? Is that how you do it?
No, you pull the trigger.
Oh, really? Oh. How do you decide how hard it is? Is it because of the triggers?
That's why
I
gotta focus. That's why I gotta focus.
Is it because the triggers on the PS5 are like force sensitive or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. They really use that controller to their advantage. That's good.
Somebody wants to make sure they get their gimmicks in.
But how does it work on the PC if you don't have a PlayStation controller?
It's not on the PC. I have no idea.
Yotei's not on the PC?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. That explains it then. Never mind. I thought it was. Tsushima is on PC, isn't it?
Tsushima's on PC. Yotei will be on PC eventually, probably in 3 or 4 years. Same way Tsushima was years after the fact. So.
And which one do you prefer so far, Tsushima or Yotei?
No, Yotei's much better.
Wow. You're a big fan of Atsu.
Tsushima's a good game, but Yotei's a very, very, very good game. Definitely would have been my game of the year if it wasn't for Expedition 33.
So you finished it?
No, not yet.
Okay, but you don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll pivot and then boom, you got it.
It's true. It could get worse in the second half. So
No. I mean, like it might be your favorite game. Maybe it gets even better.
No, probably not.
No? Wow. That's pretty sad. So it's all downhill from here.
Things don't turn around that way in the second half of a game.
They did in Clair Obscur.
That's not true. I like Clair Obscur from the first hour.
No, I just mean like somebody could change their outlook on the game based on the second half of it.
I mean, certainly you can change your outlook of the game, but it's not going to go from a second place game of the year candidate to my favorite game ever in the second half if it hasn't already done it in the first half.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
What? That's not that interesting. That's not exactly a hot take.
Well, I'm just trying to think of another game where it's like, wow, now it is my favorite.
Well, what's your favorite game? What's your favorite game ever?
What's my favorite game ever? That's a really tough question, actually. I always say American McGee's Alice, but because of the nostalgia and
All right, fine. Okay, fine. Let's roll with that. So when did you decide that was a standout game?
I think I only decided it was a standout game in hindsight because it was the one that I kept coming back to. When I played it at the time, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself for this game. Or I take a bullet for this game, that type of thing. Yeah, I agree. Because that one, it kind of hooks you immediately. If you like what you see in the first hour, you're going to like what you see in the rest, and then
I
that's
don't
it.
think a game can be, or anything, can be like a favorite something or other if you're not enjoying it throughout. Unless you're just the kind of person who just enjoys absolutely nothing throughout, and then you're just basing it on a percentage. Like, oh, I enjoyed 50% of this, and that's way more than any other one.
Yeah, maybe. If somebody's really pedantic
That's
and
kind of a weird
robotic,
outlook. So,
it's like probabilistically speaking, this one is best.
yeah, I think if you're going for game of the year, favorite game or even, movie or book or whatever, it's something that's going to grip you pretty quickly and for the entirety. For somebody to say, it was just okay for the first half, but that second half is really what brought it up.
It brought it home. It wrapped everything together in a nice little package.
Yeah, I don't know if that's somebody I want to listen to. But no, Yotei's been very good since the beginning, and a bit over half, but I think I'm in the shorter half now, so...
What's your favorite weapon so far? I think you've gotten all the melee weapons.
There's no favorite weapon, because the weapon system in Yotei...
No, I get it. It's like rock, paper, scissors.
More rock, paper, scissors.
But yeah. I just want to know, like, stylistically, which one do you feel most badass when you're using it?
Kusarigama's nice because you can grab people.
Yeah, I like that one.
Has a few extra benefits that the other ones don't. I think just traditional katana is quite nice.
Just the one, not the dual wield.
The dual wield's all right too, but yeah, I think the traditional katana is nice. You start all your battles that way. You can start your standoffs and duels that way. So there's a nice simplicity to it. And then you got your dual katanas. Those are nice. They're kind of spinny. They feel different, which is nice too. So that's always good. It's good when the weapons feel different.
I was hoping that Atsu would have 3 katanas, holding one in her mouth, and then we'd really bring it home.
No, they're leaving that one in the animes. Yeah. Then you got the spear, the Yari. That's, I don't know. That's just a spear. Spears are weird weapons. You just thrust with them.
Well, yeah. You thrust, but you also sweep.
Yeah, sweep too. Yeah. There was a bad guy early on, and I guess I shouldn't call him a bad guy. There was a duel early on where I kept dying for 2 hours straight because the guy kept bonking me with his spear. So that was interesting.
Just bonking you because it wasn't even a spear; it was just a stick.
It was an oar.
Oh,
but
wow.
He used it like it wasn't like an oar like you think it is though. But I don't know. It was weird shaped oar. But it was
for
an oar.
rowing.
It was supposed to be an oar.
An oar for rowing.
I guess I don't know. It was like curved. I guess he's supposed to be some big fighting master or something like that. So I don't know if it was designed to be a super boss or whatnot, but it took me 2 hours to beat him. And he had this one attack that I just couldn't counter for the life of me. And it was just a bonk on the head and it would kill me.
Just one little tap on the head.
Yeah, he would just tap me on the head and I'd die.
It's the funny thing about those blunt weapons. It's well, I know it's spears, but like if you just have an oar, it's a blunt weapon. The blunt damage is pretty severe in real life, so you gotta watch out. A bonk on the head would actually be pretty devastating.
Yep, it devastated me for 2 hours, and we finally got him.
That's good.
But then he went up to a mountain and switched to real weapons, and he destroyed me.
Oh, so he
only for 20
didn't
minutes
die.
till only for 20. Yeah, that was only my training, and then the real fight was on top of Mount Yotei.
Wow. Okay.
And I haven't beaten him yet.
That honestly feels like a final boss to me. To go up to the namesake mountain.
You go up to Yotei right early on. You go up to Yotei in probably the first 10 hours.
Okay, well that's
It's
a
in
bit
the
of a
first
downer.
area.
You'd think it would be more of a spectacle.
No.
Maybe the final, like I was kind of hoping the final boss would be like you're fighting at the top, and then you kick him off, and he's just like tumbling down, and you can hear him. Ah!
No,
No?
I don't think so.
It's not that kind of game.
No, Mount Yotei is just the backdrop.
Is that a real mountain, by the way? Does it exist?
Yes.
How? I don't know. I don't know where Fuji is relative to anywhere else. Mount Fuji.
Mount Yotei.
So Fuji is the highest mountain, and it's kind of dead central.
Kind of in the north.
North, okay. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's definitely in the north. It's one of the 100 famous mountains in Japan. I didn't even know there were 100 mountains in Japan.
Yeah, Japan's pretty small. You wouldn't...
But there's a book. That's apparently, there's a book written about the 100 famous Japanese mountains. I didn't even know Canada or anywhere else had 100 mountains, let alone Japan. But there they are.
Tsushima's way in the south.
Oh, Tsushima is a mountain as well?
No, I don't think it's a mountain. I think it's just a zone.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, it'd be pretty interesting. Maybe their next game will be Mount Fuji, Ghost of Fuji.
I think the area at the time was the Yotei area, which is how it was named, not necessarily for the mountain, but for the area. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty good game. I strongly recommend it. But it is open world. It's it's a pretty standard open world game too. So I guess your mileage may vary.
You can always skip everything.
That's true, you can. But it's pretty fun going around because you get into a lot of like small stuff that you just don't really expect. Like even like if you grab a piece of loot or something, you can turn around and there'll be raiders that have hunted you down.
I saw you encounter an animal sanctuary last night, briefly.
Yep, there's a nice animal sanctuary, which was pretty neat. That was a good little find.
Which, oh, by the way, I didn't, because I wasn't in the chat. I just turned it on and then turned it off shortly after. But I saw you were looking at like a mural of a fox and a raccoon.
Yeah.
I think the raccoon is a reference to Sly Cooper.
Oh, maybe you're right. Because Sucker Punch did Sly Cooper. But then why no Infamous
They probably don't like Infamous.
mural?
I think they're distancing themselves away from it.
They shouldn't distance themselves from Infamous. I want another Infamous.
Well, you're probably never going to get one.
You might though. Now that they've kind of done the open world thing, I think Infamous would be fine in an open world setting.
Wasn't it already open world?
It was open zone, I think, is how I would describe it.
Was it? I don't remember that. When
Do
you were
like
playing it, it was just everything.
maybe. I'd have to go back and check.
You were like hunting those TVs or something in the first game, TV broadcasts.
I don't remember. I have to go back and check it out. But I think they could translate Infamous pretty well into what they've made with the Ghost games. So they should do it. They could do Sly Cooper too. I enjoyed the Sly Cooper games.
Because I only played the first two Sly Cooper games and they were about the same type of game. Did they make one of them open world or did they stick with that formula?
No. I think they all stuck. I think 4 was again open zones. So they were bigger maps, but they were still kind of level based, I think. Again, it's been a long time since I played those games.
I wonder if the next one, if they ever make a next one, would just be an open world again. Because, I guess that's what people like. I kind of miss the level days.
Yeah, me too. It's got its place. Open world's got its places, but the levels are. I think the nicest ones are. You haven't played them, but I personally prefer the levels that are in, or the way that they do the. Yeah, I guess the levels, whatever you want to call them, in the EA Jedi games.
Oh, like
the second one,
Jedi Fallen
Jedi
Order and Survivor? Okay.
Yeah.
So those are not open world.
Yeah, not real. They give you freedom. But things are more corridored. So like you can go off on a tangent, and you'll go down something that's fairly linear for a prize, and it could take you half an hour or something like that to check out. It still gives you a lot of freedom that you get in an open world, but it's a lot more directed, but not to the level of corridor.
So kind of like Sekiro. Sekiro is not terribly open world.
Yeah, kind of like Sekiro.
It's a nice balance, I find. It gives you the freedom to kind of explore the area, but you know that the area is self-contained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
that.
That's the best way to describe it. I think that works out the best. Like I said, linear can just be like, oh, we're just going down another corridor. When's it going to end? Linear is like the devs pushing you through their game. But open world can be just too much.
I mean, the most linear game would be an on-rails shooter. That's the ultimate linear game.
That's true.
And then you go slightly more where it's a corridor, but you can at least explore side rooms. And then beyond that, you get into every level is kind of big, but it's still, a rectangle. It's like Thief, where you have a big level, and you can do things in whatever way you want, or even Hitman or some other game like that. But it's still just a level. And then you get into the Sekiro, where it's the levels are connected, but they're each self-contained. And then you get into the open world. And then suddenly you get into the really open world where it's just Ubisoft dropping things to collect everywhere for the rest of time, infinitely.
Yeah, so Yotei's still an open world game. It's, so your mileage varies in that regard. But it's a very strong open world game.
And if the story is good, that's another thing, right? The story, again, if you just skip the stuff you don't want to do, and as long as you're enticed by the story, you're going to enjoy it. Because gameplay-wise, it seems pretty solid. So that's
it. Oh yeah, it's got great swordplay. 1-on-1. It gets a little messy with a lot of people, but
I know you love those archers.
oh yeah, the archers are fucking great. I love being in a mode where I'm one shot by everything, and there's fucking 4 archers 6 miles out of the combat arena just sniping me.
You know, I called it though. When you told me about switching to that one hit and you're dead mode, I was like, well, what about archers?
Yeah, and that was how it was. That is how it is.
I'm just glad the archers are on the same level as you, as in like you can run up to them, because
Well,
I was
there have been a few
expecting them to
times
be
where they've
like,
been on different levels. There have been a
okay,
few times where they were on different levels.
oh, that's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, you gotta throw things. Or I mean, you can snipe them too, but they're also so fast that by the time you get your bow ready, they've already leveled another one at you. So that's annoying. But yeah, no, the archers suck.
And you don't get a skill to deflect arrows. You can't deflect them back. At them.
No, you can block. You can block them.
No,
You
but
can't
like,
deflect them back.
damn,
No,
that would
it's
be
not
so
that kind of
sweet.
game.
I just remember doing that. Like, I think wasn't it Witcher 2 that did that? It was so satisfying. It's like, whoa, it's going right back at you.
Yeah, I played one not long ago. What was it?
Maybe in Jedi Fallen Order, because it seems like
Yeah, I think in Jedi Fallen Order you can launch back some pistol fire. There was one really recently that I played that you could do that in. I just can't remember what it was. So that sucks. But one-on-one duels, very, very good. Great back and forth. I would even say in a lot of cases better than Sekiro, which is what I have kind of put at the top of my sword dance kind of list. Sekiro has a lot of moments that are beautiful dances, but I think Yotei does it better.
well, how does Tsushima compare? Does it have the same one-on-ones, or is that something they added for
Yeah,
Yotei?
Tsushima's pretty good too, but I think they didn't go too strong with one-on-ones, whereas in Yotei they really have tried to. Like, I don't remember a lot of duels in Tsushima, but there have been a lot in Yotei.
Yeah, I like that aspect. The duels are what you would expect. That's like the anytime you were entering a duel, I don't know, anytime you were doing anything combat heavy in Yotei, it feels almost like a western. You have a bit of a
Yeah,
tinge
because they
of
do that
western
standoff
music.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that standoff scene. Yeah.
I think that may be part of like cinema.
I remember in Tsushima too, and I actually think it's better. I think the standoff scene in Tsushima is better because Jin Sakai, the main character in Tsushima, when you're doing the cutoff scene, he does like this little to unsheath his katana. He does like this little finger flick. You know, he just kind of like unclicks it with his finger, which is just it's such a good cutscene.
It's like unclicking your revolver, ready to draw.
Yeah, it's such a good cutscene. So in that regard, I think Tsushima is a little bit better. But yeah, it's cool the way they present it. They really put a lot of effort into the presentation of the game, and they have some extra stylistic modes that you can do after famous Japanese directors and styles. So they got Kurosawa mode, which is black and white and grainy. And mind you, I don't watch any of these things, so they're kind of lost on me. They have Mike mode, which is like grittier and more in your face.
Did you compare? Did you see if there's a difference?
I played Mike mode for a little bit, and I really liked it. There was a difference. There was a difference, and it fit more with the game. Kurosawa mode, like I said, it's black. It's like black and white. So if you like that kind of stuff, go for it. But I don't really play a black and white game. But Mike mode was definitely very gritty. Was much grittier. But I turned it off just because I was like, I'm gonna play it the way that the devs intended.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then there was a I don't remember what the other mode is, but it's a sound mode where it changes the music.
Yeah, apparently lo-fi music from a Japanese director. Did you actually hear lo-fi music?
I didn't try that. I didn't really try that one. Apparently, it's only really during cutscenes, or not cutscenes, battle. And I was like, I don't really care. From what I saw on like Reddit and all that, it's not a very expansive list of music. They put a lot of love into the game. They did a good job. Sucker Punch is a good studio, and it shows in their game. There we go. That's the samurai game, but I would not want to live in those times.
Yeah, even if you were a badass samurai woman.
Yeah. Mind you, she's not a samurai.
Well, like she's a badass woman who knows how to handle a sword, a spear, dual swords, and a thing with a big stone on one end and a big hook on the other end. Scythe hook on the other end.
That's right. Yeah, Kusarigama. And the combat options are very good, even for like the multi-duels. Like you got a lot of tools at your disposal, which are pretty nice. That you can control the battlefield with, whether it be blinding powder or fire bombs or
Wolves.
You also get a wolf companion,
Just find that
kind of
funny.
thing, which kind of helps you out. But then you can also like pick up their weapons and throw them at people, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of Sifu. I don't know if you ever encountered that in Sifu when you played briefly, but anytime there's an item on the ground, you can kick it at people. And it's so satisfying when it's like a sword-like weapon or a blade. Because then it's like, yeah, there you go, one hit.
That's what it is in this game. It's pretty much, I mean, you can't do it for everything, but there are certain items you can grab and throw at other enemies. So that's always satisfying. Kill them in one go. You also have a thing where you can like scare them. I don't know exactly know how that works, but
Well, Atsu's a scary lady.
I guess she just yells, and these professionally trained samurai and soldiers and just drop their weapon and cower in fear until you stab them with your sword.
With the weird animation. I don't know. That animation looks weird to me.
Well, she just walks up and sticks it in them.
I don't know. It pivots really quickly. I don't know if you noticed that, but she pivots really quickly. No, I get it. It's fine, but it does look a bit jarring.
And sometimes, again, this is the attention to detail. Sometimes they don't die, so they just crawl on the ground until you go finish them off.
And why do you finish them off? Do you get anything beneficial from that?
I get a little extra spirit.
Right. Okay. Because like if they're assholes, why would you finish them off? Let them suffer.
I do agree with you, but there's just something satisfying about walking up to them and just casually sticking your katana through them. And again, in attention to detail, you can sheath your weapon after the fight. It's such a good animation. You know, she'll like wipe the blood off of her katana, and you'll get like the squirting sound as she wipes it off, and then she sheaths it. And apparently, it's been analyzed. It's not like this really loose animation. Like it's really tight. Like she puts it in. There's no clipping. It clicks when it's supposed to click. Like it's all very accurate, apparently.
I find it hilarious though. Sometimes you'll end a fight and it ends with the people participating alive, and they'll be covered in blood, but everybody's so casual about everything. Like, yeah, it's all good, it's all good. And then you look at the person, they're literally covered in blood from head to toe.
There are times where I'll talk to a person and I'll be covered in blood. I'll be like, oh, this is an interesting situation. Let's do a casual conversation while I got blood splattered across my face.
I wonder if there's ever a case where you finish a fight and you're like that, and the conversation is one where like there's laughter, where it's like it's a joking conversation. So even Atsu cracks a smile, and that would just be interesting.
Not too many comedy pieces in this game though, so
No, I don't know. I've tuned in a couple times where it was funny.
There was the one storyline in the Oni region had a funny character,
but even when you dress up, even Atsu has to dress up as a waitress.
That's true.
That was funny. And then she pretends that, or like she has to sidestep the question of like, well, I haven't seen you before. Like, I've worked here for 2 years. How could you not remember?
That was
me?
amusing. That was amusing. How she just walked in and said, "Yeah, I've been working here for 2 years." And the guy was just like, "Oh, must have cut your hair."
and then you revisit the place, and he's like, "Do I recognize you?" Because you're not wearing the waitress getup.
Yeah. So overall, very good game. I enjoy it. I strongly recommend it. Time period's good, and you learn about samurais. So there you go. By the way, I just want to put this out there exactly as predicted. It's like 6 million times better than Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Except for the historical accuracy.
I don't know. This is pretty accurate.
Nah, I believe you.
It's so much better. And even things that they do the same, like there are certain things that are like the same activities or what have you that you can directly compare. Like even painting. I don't know why painting's in both games, but it is. But in this one, it's more interactive. Not that it's anything stand out. It's not like a ground shattering thing, but it's just so much more interactive and dynamic than Shadows is, where you just click a button and then they just paint it.
Maybe Yotei ripped off Shadows. They stole all their ideas, but they improved on them.
I doubt it, but maybe, given that they're only 6 months apart.
Hey, they did it really quickly. They implemented Ghost of Yotei in just 6 months. Sucker Punch could do it.
A lot of it is, I mean, if you played Tsushima, a lot of like animations and stuff are definitely taken right from Tsushima. So it's not like they reinvented the wheel.
Yeah, but look at Ubisoft. They didn't even need 6 months. They needed a week.
Yeah, Ubisoft just does it in a week.
They needed that delay that they added. They had 0% done, and then they had the extra months to finish it.
I would love to see what that game looked like before the delay, because it was dog shit when it came out. I'm so sad at Ubisoft. They used to make such good games. Now they just don't care. Copy and paste, minimum effort, whatever. But yes, that's Yotei.
Maybe they're min-maxing video game development, Ubisoft. Minimum effort for maximum profit. Like literally trying their best.
100% what they're doing. It's sad. It makes me sad. Brings a tear to my eye. Their fall from grace. The worst part is that it snuck up on everybody because everybody was like, Activision's bad, EA's bad. Nobody used to ever mention Ubisoft. And then all of a sudden it was just like, have you met Ubisoft? And it just came out of nowhere. And now EA's owned by the Saudis, and Ubisoft's owned by the Chinese, and Activision's owned by Microsoft. Like everything, they're all country owned. I guess Microsoft's not actually country, but
Give it time. Someday Microsoft will be.
Microsoft will definitely be owned by the government the U.S. government at some point. Yeah, but all these studios are now it's going all over the place now. Can't trust any of them.
Just got to trust the indie devs and the double A's. More clear obscures, please.
I think the double A's are where my faith lies. I feel like indie devs are not across the board, but I think indie devs, and people will argue this, and I've had some pretty big fights with people over this. I don't know. Indie games kind of all have the same feel within their like little things. Like there's so many roguelites, there's so many Metroid, like they love their Metroidvanias. And yeah, you get indie devs that'll do the bigger games, but then that's where I kind of say, well, now you're double, like Expedition 33 was an indie dev, but they're double A. Like you can call them an indie dev, whatever you want, but I think they're double A.
But there's some unique ones. Come on. I can't
There
think
are.
of any off the top of
It's
my
not
head,
a blanket
but
statement for sure. Yeah.
You're right.
It's not a blanket statement for sure.
But it's just barrier to entry. There's going to be plenty of those types of games because there's like a very good preset for them where people know how to do it. People maybe have the passion to proceed with that project. If I was going to make a game and I had some aptitude, I would make a Metroidvania because I love that genre. I maybe wouldn't make it as cookie cutter as some of them because there's things you can do that are more unique, more interesting. But I don't blame anybody for just wanting to make another Super Metroid clone because, that's nostalgia to them.
Oh, that's fine. Like I said, like it's not there just comes a point where it's like, do I want to play Metroidvania number 600? And some of them do a really good job at mixing it up, absolutely. But again, like you said, it's barrier to entry and it's filtering through I don't have the same blanket reverence for indie games that I feel like a lot of gamers do.
I think I just have the admiration of somebody getting a project to completion. That's all. It's not necessarily like, even if I don't like the game, I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the commitment, especially if it's like just one guy over the course of 5 years. Come on. That's, even if you're not a fan of the game, it's like, wow, well done.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of great indie games out there, At one point in time, I loved Phasmophobia. There was that.
Yeah. Before the money went into the guy's head.
Yeah. But other games, Lethal Company, Peak is this year's big, indie darling. So
right, made by another Crab's Treasure people.
Right. So I mean, it's there are definitely some more unique, standout indie games for sure, and even Metroidvanias. There's the one that I know you played for your Humble thing that I also played. What was it, Chasm or?
Yeah, well, Chasm, but it's more of a procedurally generated Metroidvania, I guess.
But that one was pretty good. I remember playing and liking that one.
What about Axiom Verge?
I didn't play Axiom Verge.
Oh, no? Okay. That's a good one. I thought Ghost Song was good, too.
Oh, yeah, Ghost Song. Yeah, Ghost Song's a really good game. I really like that game. Yeah, there's a lot of good indie Metroidvanias for sure. You get the ones like that are roguelite, like Rogue Legacy. I really like that game. I guess Bloodstained is technically a indie.
Oh, yeah, Bloodstained, fair enough.
To a degree, I guess. That might venture into AA territory. Monster Sanctuary is a Metroidvania creature collector, which is a phenomenal game. Then you get like the Souls-like ones like Death's Gambit and Tales of Iron
and then Silk Song.
And Silk Song.
The most Souls-like Metroidvania that I've ever played and hopefully will ever play.
I will die on the hill that you can't make a good Souls-like 2D game.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see how it's possible.
You put all the bad stuff of Souls games into it, and you say that that's why it makes it a Souls game, and you take away the combat meticulousness.
The whole thing about Souls games is the option to play how you want to play and the maneuverability, and you can't do that on a 2D plane.
So, well, they did as best as they could by giving you more tools to use. I don't use those tools. I just use my needle and that's it. But I can see them really putting the effort because so one of the things about Silk Song that Hollow Knight 1 didn't have is you get different crests which give you different ways of fighting. So you know how like in Witcher you'd have stances. So you'd either be really quick or you'd have like heavy attacks, or like, there was another one. But it's things like that where you have different ways of doing downwards attacks. You have different ways of bouncing off of enemies. You have different ways, different frequencies of hitting, of like, do you do quick hits or are they slow paced but do more damage? So you get the variety, but I don't use any of the variety. I just wanted Hollow Knight 1, and I'm trying my best to make it as close to that as possible while playing it.
I feel the same way with, like, not to that degree, but like I'll play Souls-like, you get to a hard part, and maybe you'll beat it, maybe you won't. And then I go online and they'll be like, oh, if I use my thunder coating, you do extra damage. And I'm like, no!
You don't want to use the extra
Weapon
stuff.
only. I use one item, my Estus flask. That's it.
Even that, sometimes, like, somebody tells you, oh, you got to heal. It's like, nope, we're not healing anymore. That's it. This is a no heal run at this point.
I don't want to use a thunder coating. I don't want to use a bomb, and I don't want to use a dagger. Just let me swing at the enemy. All right.
Honestly, it's because I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed if I have too many things to use. And in the moment, at the end of the day, the only way I really beat whatever difficult boss that I'm struggling with is by learning the moves, learning to dodge. That's it.
I think for me, it's just like you're going to run out of them. Probably. You know what I mean? Like if I keep using them, I'm going to run out of them. So I just don't use them. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to do 10 tries. I have 10 of these items. And they're like, oh, it's super effective against this boss. And then I'm going to keep losing. So I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just going to just fight normal.
They do replenish. It's just that like you probably wouldn't run out of them. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
It's more variability in a game where that they made it possible to do without anything extra. They did. I got this even when I played Donkey Kong Country 2 for the first time. If you do the level as quickly as you can, you will not get hit. But you have to do it perfectly. Because you know why? It's because when the developers make the levels, they want to make it really easy to test and run through. So they make it so that if you can do it perfectly but really quickly, you won't get hit, you won't have any issues. It's only when you stop and have to like time something that you start struggling. And I got this, and this applies to a lot of 2D games. Super Meat Boy had that too.
Yeah, I think the truth of the matter is that a lot of gamers are not particularly great at video games. So if you apply that to dev logic and you try to they just want to get through it, and they might want to make it hard for you, but then they have to get through it. And I think that's the biggest thing with like Elden Ring. Miyazaki designed Elden Ring to be played with the Ash system, which are like temporary allies. And he said like that's how I beat the game. So obviously that's how it's tuned. So if you don't go in with that, you're kind of handicapping yourself. Which is fine, because I don't want to play like that. But
makes the game really hard.
Yeah, but I think a lot of these devs are like, I think a lot of the devs aren't particularly high skill, and so you got to kind of think like, oh, how's the dev going to get through this? And maybe it's a little bit easier.
I mean, I think the devs that make the mechanics, the fact that they have to like test them over and over again, they're probably really skilled. But the people who are higher up, like Miyazaki at that point,
yeah,
they don't have the time to sit there and like play it for 8 hours a day. So they're not going to be like top tier.
True. But they got to get through it. So, somebody like Miyazaki is very hands-on, so he's got to get through it. So add NPCs. People aren't going to like that. I don't care. That's what I'm using. Then they tune everything to that. Anyways, let's talk about our movie of the week.
The Harder They Fall, 2021.
It's a Western, which is very cool. It's about a guy whose family was killed as a kid by a certain outlaw.
And the outlaw left a mark on his forehead.
Yep.
Oh, wait, this is Harry Potter. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that is what happened. He did leave a mark on his forehead. It's a revenge tale.
Like Ghost of Yotei.
It pretty much is. All flows together today. The theme of this week is revenge. Familial revenge. And he goes and gets revenge with his little gang of
ruffians.
Outlaws.
Outlaws who steal from other outlaws. That was the shtick. They were like outlaws with a heart of gold, I guess.
Robin Hoods. They were all Robin Hoods.
But for themselves, because Robin Hood would give the wealth back to the people. They just kept it for themselves.
And had Jonathan Majors in the lead role, and the main antagonist was Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm. Knuckles.
Yep, Knuckles, among other things.
I couldn't picture anything else when he was talking. I was like, damn, because that's the only role I've seen him in.
Oh, he's a pretty pronounced actor.
Oh, he is, but I haven't. I know he played in like Thor, right? He played some guy in gold armor, I think.
Yeah, he was in the MCU stuff.
I don't really remember him from that, so it's like Knuckles is the most recent and most prominent role I've seen him in. I've typecast him.
His most recent role actually is alongside John Cena in Heads of State, which we talked about last
That's
week.
right, but I haven't seen that, so.
But overall, it was a pretty good movie, I thought.
Wow, okay. That's good.
I thought it was a. Did you not like it?
It was all right. I did like the end. The end was interesting. The twist at the end, spoilers, everybody. The twist at the end, which I didn't see coming because I didn't think they were about this. Like, I guess in hindsight, now that I think about it, okay, maybe they do look at the appropriate age to be brothers. But originally, I thought, like, when he was holding the ring, I was like, maybe that was they were together. The wife that he killed was with Idris Elba, but no, it didn't turn out that way. No, I thought that was interesting, and the actors did a good job with the emotional roles. The gunfights were, very unrealistic, I guess, but sure. It's flashy. It's very stylish, this movie. So I think one of the best parts was when they go to the white-only town, and it's literally all white. Everything's painted
Yeah.
white. The ground somehow is white. I thought it was snow, but it can't be snow because it's like I looked at the gravel or whatever they were stepping on. I don't even know what that was. I don't think there's any place that exists like that. But anyway, good for them because they really, really honed in on the difference, the stark contrast between these two black people coming into town, or I guess three, but one of them was away.
I really like the overall aesthetic. It was a very modernized old western.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a very modernized old western. The old westerns were always very clean and very exaggerated and condensed, and that's how this movie was. It was very clean. All the guys were all very clean. Yeah, it wasn't really until like the Clint Eastwoods where you start to get grittier.
Well, like clean in what way?
Everything looked clean and proper, and like even their clothes were clean. They didn't have dirt all over their faces. Things like
Okay.
that. But even the buildings, like if you remember the one nighttime scene when Stagecoach Mary came up and got kidnapped, like everything was like lit up. It looked all very like Vegas-y, if anything.
I guess for an old western town, that's a bit strange to think about.
Yeah. So it was all very. The set pieces were all very, and even the carrot, the clothing and all that was all very clean and proper. And a lot of really old westerns were like that, where they were, I think, trying to maybe fit in with Hollywood, so they weren't doing the gritty stuff. And like I said, it wasn't until the Clint Eastwoods where you get things that are a lot grittier.
Like everybody's covered in shit type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For what it's worth, I haven't really seen. I think maybe I've seen a couple of those old westerns, but I don't remember them if I have, like really old ones. So it's hard to compare.
The special effects I thought were interesting. Not what I expected. They were not afraid to go with the splurting blood and severed limbs and all that kind of stuff. I was surprised they went with that.
It's not a family movie, I guess.
No, it's not a family movie, and a few funny scenes, especially with that one character. There was a few funny scenes.
Which character?
The one who ended up dying at the shootout because he was counting too slow.
Yeah, that was tragic. I thought. I don't know. I thought he would at least tie.
Well, he cheated.
Well, I mean, a lot of them kind of cheat if you think about it.
Yeah.
Which is probably the right thing to do in a situation like that.
Yeah, I'm
There's
thinking
no
if
chivalry.
my life is on the line and you're counting really slow down from 5, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you at 3. Like that's just it's not the best strategy. It's not, you're not anybody's hero for it, but I think I'd rather be there's a point where I'd rather be alive than a hero.
Well, then that's what that guy said. The guy who shot first. He said how in this world it's not about who draws first; it's about who lives.
That's right. Yeah. But anyways, that character had a few funny points. Even the first interaction between the two, where he wanted to do the standoff originally, and the guy just walked away. Cherokee Bill just walked away. Now, so one thing that completely threw me off in this movie that I really was not really frustrated by, but it drove me a little bit crazy, is that these were all real people. They even say at the beginning of the movie that these are real people, but it's a fictional scenario.
They all existed.
So Nat Love was real. Rufus Black was real. Stagecoach Mary was real. Cherokee Bill was real. I don't know if the other woman was, but the one that was like the guy was real. That kind of disguised himself as a guy, and he didn't even know. Again, the comedy relief character didn't even know it was a woman.
Yeah, until she took her trousers off.
He's like, I thought I was catching feelings for a man. Yeah, I was like, okay. So all those characters were real, but none of them in their life ever interacted between them, and they were all from not different time periods exactly, but within their ages don't match up, the way they died don't match up, and so I'm just like, why even put like Stagecoach Mary was never an outlaw, never met Nat Love. The Rufus Black gang was only really notorious for about 1 year, and then they were hanged. Like Idris Elba's probably like 40 in this movie, and the Rufus Black gang got hanged at like 21. So like the timelines don't match up. Cherokee Bill. So I worked out that Nat Love must have been about 30. I think he was 31 or 32 in this movie. When Nat Love was 31 or 32, Cherokee Bill would have only been 9 years old. So it was all over the place.
Bit,
like, yeah, but they just took these, like, for whatever reason, they used real characters in a fictional thing, and I'm just like, I don't understand it.
Right, it's what I told you before. It's like if you say based on a true story, it's just going to do way more. It's going to be way more successful. So if you say these people existed, that's what they did right at the beginning. These people existed, period. And so it's like now you're really drawn into it. Oh, I want to know what happens to these people. No one's going to look into whether they actually existed
That's
at the right
not what it was.
time.
Nat Love wasn't an outlaw. He was I can't remember. He was a soldier or something, and then afterwards he worked on the railway.
Was he black at least?
Yeah, I think most of the characters were all right. I think Cherokee Bill was the only iffy one. Stagecoach Mary was also very iffy.
So that's also weird.
Her casting was very well. No, the thing with her casting was Stagecoach Mary in real life was like a bigger, like taller, huskier, really dark skinned black lady.
And Zazie Beetz is not.
There was a little bit of outrage that they went with kind of a tiny, light skinned woman. And then Cherokee Bill, it's hard to tell from pictures, but Cherokee Bill looked more, I guess he was half African American and half Native American.
Oh, that's why they had the little exchange in different language.
But from the pictures, and it's always kind of hard to tell with the older pictures in certain situations, he looked more Native American than African American in real life. So I don't understand why. I guess maybe a marketing thing, but I've never seen it marketed with like these are real people but not a real scenario. Usually they'll say like, oh, based on a true story. This wasn't even based on a true story. This was none of these people interact. Like some of the people who got gunned down at the end of the movie, it actually might have been the Joker guy. I can't even remember what his name is. The one who got gunned down during like what we were just talking about with the cheated draw. I think he actually died from it was either him or the other good guy right after that. One of them died being poisoned. They didn't die in a shootout. They didn't die any that way. They got poisoned. I didn't understand that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't think any of the situations were accurate. They literally just used the fact that these people with these names did exist.
That's what I just don't get. I don't get it. I've never seen a movie like this where because it just drove me wild because I was always like looking it up. I'm trying to like make parallels here. I'm like, there must be something here, but there's nothing. There's literally nothing. Rufus Black was part of a gang. Like I said, he was hanged in like the early 20s. He had 1 year of being kind of a menace, and it wasn't to the degree that he was here where he was taking over towns and all that. He wasn't related to Nat Love.
Maybe this is the case of like, what happens if he doesn't get hanged? There's an alternate timeline. And time delays as well cause like people to be born at different times instead of how they were. I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, well, okay, fine. It's one of those based on a true story lies that they always tell you.
Like I said, I'd maybe be okay with that, but it's not even a based on.
No, I just mean like when they,
just...
it's the equivalent of that. It's them trying something else because people are sick of the based on the true story. So they're like, well, these characters existed. Next thing they're going to be like based on a true story and these characters have existed or these people existed.
But overall, I really did enjoy this movie. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say that this movie is my new King of the Hill.
Wow. Better than Ride Along.
Yep. I really like this. I did really like this movie. I thought it was a very good movie.
You're a big fan of these movies that star black characters. That's good.
I guess.
This is your atonement for all the racist jokes we make.
No, you make the racist jokes.
No, it was a good movie.
I like westerns, and this was a very good modern western. I just thought it was really good. I thought maybe the beginning was a little bit confusing. There was a lot of like jumping around at the beginning, but it kind of evened itself out.
The way I see it is the movie at the very beginning, I was like really hooked by him shooting the guy with the serpent tattoo. I was like, wow, okay, this is basically going to be just like Ghost of Yotei, where he's going to go kill each one of them. But then he goes to the saloon and he's like, no, we're all done. Like, no. Now the story's going to be some...
Well, that's the only lead he had at the time.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know.
Rufus was locked up.
I really wanted it to be, this methodical one-by-one revenge story. But it didn't turn out that way. But then the end kind of, they brought it together.
Anyways, for you, what do we got? Are we sticking with
Oh, Marcel the Shell with shoes on, of course. Yeah,
all right.
there's no
Not
no
gunned down
contest.
by these guys. There you go.
This is no abduction either. That's the modern western you really want.
Nope, that's not a modern western. That's not anything. What's next?
Let's do it. Random movie generator. Take me away. Give us something good. Save the Last Dance. There you go. Julia Stiles, Sean Patrick Thomas, together at last. This is actually a movie for once that my sister and my niece will probably watch, and I know my sister has probably seen it already. So,
American dance film. Julie, I don't even know who Julia Stiles is. Julia Stiles, Sean Patrick Thomas. I don't know who that is. I don't know who any of these guys are.
they were all the rage back in the 2000s.
In 2001, American dance film. This is when all those films were. This is when High School Musical was coming out, and they did.
No, High School Musical was after that.
No, I get it, but it was still that era of like there were a lot of like dance movies and singing movies coming out around this time.
Okay.
So Step Up was in there. What was the one with Anna Kendrick? Pitch Perfect. Like they're all in the same, less than 10 years apart from each other.
Okay, less than 10 years, sure. Well, Pitch Perfect is 11 years, but yeah. This is the precursor to those. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. When I was younger, I abhorred all these movies because I do remember my sister would watch them sometimes, and I was like, no, never. But now it's like I have no choice, so I have to watch it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I don't know. I have nothing against these types of movies. They're going to be good, clean fun with lots of miscommunication, which is one of my pet peeves. But hey, whatever. You know, it's going to be one of those, right? Where it's like they're gonna have a tiff just because somebody said something and it was misconstrued. You know, it's going to happen. This is like the trope in these movies. And then in the end, they're all gonna come together. It's all gonna be happy-go-lucky. But there's gonna be a point in there where it happens.
Yep. So we shall see. 112 minutes, 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. The dancing was particularly criticized, derided as mediocre at best, and borderline offensive at worst. So we might have a ray gun Australian Olympics situation here. Oh yeah, here's some other ones. Stomp the Yard, Honey, You Got Served.
Yeah,
like
you got served. Yeah.
They were all, like I said, this was the era of the knots in the early 10s were singing and dancing.
That's awesome. Oh. We get to watch one of the first ones, one of the early attempts at that.
The one that paved the way. It was so bad that all these movies came out just to save the...
Or maybe it was so good that they wanted to ride its coattails. We won't know. We won't know until we watch
That's true. We'll find out.
Maybe this will be better for you than The Harder They Fall, and for me, better than Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Huh?
I will be shocked if...
But you never know.
Okay.
You never
right.
know. That's the best thing about this random movie stuff. You didn't know that The Harder They Fall would have been better than Ride Along.
That's true. I did not expect to like Harder They Fall as much as I did. So, who knows? You're right. You're 100% right. Just got to go in and watch it and see what happens.
This is why gambling is so fun. It's because you get your heart racing, thinking like, what could I attain from this?
True. We're going in and we're going to find out. There we go. All right. Why don't you tell us what the word of the fortnight is?
We got some words this time around. 2 words, both from Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song, just because, that's the game I'm stuck with for the past how many weeks it's been. But the first word...
Still not done.
Are
you done?
No, still not done.
You're still not done. We're halfway through October. You're supposed to play Resident Evil this month.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's okay. Those are... Relatively speaking, those are very short compared to Silk Song. And I wanted only to play the first one as a last ditch effort, if anything. But anyway, the first word is torpor. Torpor. It's a noun, and it is the lack of feeling or lack of interest. And my example is, I've been in a torpor this month. And my second word is dreg. D-R-E-G, also a noun. This is the sediment contained in a liquid or precipitated. And my example is, there's tea dregs in my cup because the bag broke. And I hate when that happens.
There you go.
Good words. I don't know. That's one of the perks of Silksong. They got a couple. They got quite a few of these nouns, maybe adjectives as well. But yeah, they got quite a few good words. I wouldn't expect that from a game about insects.
Is there a lot of dialogue in the? I don't remember there much dialogue in the first game.
There's not a lot of dialogue, but there's enough to, there's enough because each NPC has at least a few lines to say, and usually they have some hoity-toity way of speaking. So you'll have a few that are like they use fancy words. Not everybody does, though. Some of them, because I don't know how much you played in Hollow Knight, but each region had kind of its own way of speaking. So they try to stereotype and say like, oh, these are Scottish people, or these are French people, or whatever. And they have like the more fancy, high-class people speaking sometimes. And you yourself are a pretty high-class person too. So Hollow Knight didn't have, you didn't have a speaking role.
Thank you for noticing.
No, I just mean in Hollow Knight 1, you're mute. You don't have any dialogue.
So in the second game, you're...
But Hornet, who is the main character of Silksong, she speaks in the first game.
Oh, it's not the same. Oh, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same character. She actually is in Hollow Knight 1, but she's your enemy at one point. And so you play as her, and she actually does speak, and she's one of these high-class people.
I see. Got it.
She's like, she probably has the same personality as Atsu from Ghost of Yotei in some sense.
I doubt it. Atsu's a bitch.
Well, yeah, okay.
We didn't talk about Atsu.
Hornet
we
is also...
We didn't talk about Atsu.
Hornet is also kind of a bitch, so there you go. We agree.
I would say that's the one thing, we didn't talk about that, but that's one thing with, I'll say very briefly, that's one thing with Sony-led, I mentioned it like the first day I played it, with Sony-led female characters, they're all the same. They're all written exactly the same. They're these super independent, to a fault, complete bitches. It's just, they're all this, like Ellie from Last of Us is the same way, Aloy from Horizon is the same way, and now Atsu is the same way. They all are exactly the same. Like, I don't care about you. I only care about, this friggin' tunnel visioned act of revenge that I'm going on. I'm going to do it my own way. I refuse to accept any help from absolutely anybody. If you think I'm your friend, I'm not. Like, just go fuck off. They're all exactly the same way. They're all exactly the same type of character.
Okay. I don't remember Aloy being like that in the first game, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Oh, no. But in the second game, she's much more like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the second game, she's a lot like that.
That sucks.
Aloy is probably the best of them because she still kind of has more of a polite disposition, but there's a lot of situations in that second game where like she just runs off in the middle of the night because she doesn't want anybody. They're like, oh, we'll leave in the morning, we'll go together and we'll save the world together. She's like, no, I'm going on my own, middle of the night kind of stuff, and I don't care about you or anybody else.
And she does this to other women as well, or just men?
She does to anybody. So I guess it depends on what the situation was, but she does it to everybody. And I've said in the past, like Ellie, and I won't speak too much about it, but I thought Ellie in Last of Us 2, like, to me, invalidated the entire series. So that's how bad of a character she was. Sony Studios just have a type. That's all I gotta say.
They're appealing to those obnoxiously strong and independent women out there, the ones that just hate everybody else for some reason.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do, but they're doing exactly what you say. They're doing the strong, independent woman archetype. But for some reason, that archetype, you take a Venn diagram of strong, independent woman, and bitch in Sony games, it's a circle.
See, it's weird to me, like, I guess we could have had the whole discussion about this, but I like when it's a strong, independent woman as the main character.
Yeah, that's fine.
And some games have done an excellent job of that, but they don't have to be a bitch for that. Like, you don't have to be...
Sony games, for whatever reason, crank it to 11.
You can accept help. Yeah. You can have vulnerable moments. That's... Like, good male characters have that too. And it's funny, though, because the strong, independent male characters, they're not bitchy. They're on the contrary, they're like usually charming. So you never have this weird like, oh, I'm gonna do everything on my own. It's just kind of nonchalant about it. The male characters. I don't know. It's weird. It's to exaggerate like that. It's almost like comical.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know why Sony insists on that type of. I can't imagine it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be a Sony from the top down kind of.
Probably is, yeah.
Yeah, initiative or whatever you want to call it.
Who was the writer for Because maybe the games were
Oh, I
written
don't
by
know.
the same person? Probably not, though, right? They would be written by the studios themselves.
Yeah, that's what I would think. So,
So maybe editing done or production or producer influence.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just some sort of what if the character was like this, you know? Anyways, let's do very quickly. Let's do a couple Pokemon sounds from last season. Let's see what these. We judged them on their cries, and now we're seeing what they are. Do 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 do. So let's see. We're on round 24, which was between 67 and 62, and 67, which was the loser of that round, sounded like this.
It's a monkey.
Well, maybe it's a monkey, but I actually don't know.
It's Monkey Dory.
It's Monkey Dory. Is that a monkey, though?
It is, yeah.
Okay. All right. You nailed it. This is a hippie monkey.
It's a retainer Pokemon. What does that mean? What's a retainer Pokemon?
Where does it say it's a retainer?
On
Pokemon?
Bulbapedia, under Monkey Dory, it says retainer Pokemon.
I don't know. It's just a monkey. You get it from the DLC in the most recent game, Scarlet and Violet.
Yay, DLC.
Yep, more DLC legendary Pokemon. It's a poison psychic, kind of dopey looking monkey with a headband on him.
And he's pointing to the headband. Or he's picking at his ear.
Oh, yeah, he's probably picking his ear.
Getting the wax
It
out.
looks more like he's picking.
Hungry.
Why is Monkey Dory using its foresight? Yeah, it is just a hippie It's just a hippie Pokemon. Picks at ear. It meditates. I don't like this Pokemon.
Oh, he's a member of the Pecharunt or Pecharunt Loyal 3, which includes the winner, I think. The guy, well, what's his name? Okidogi.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's got the same,
Okidogi's here.
same.
He also has the chain around
yeah,
his neck.
exactly, same chain.
And then so does this other one. So that we'll see shortly.
I don't know. This is another one of these Pokemon that just...
I don't like this one.
Well, it doesn't look like a legendary. Again, like what is with these...
Yeah.
What is Game Freak doing with these legendaries that look like nothing?
Well, I was going to say maybe when they stand next to each other in an epic pose, maybe then they look like it. But they have that exact picture on the Bulbapedia. And
And they look terrible.
yeah, well, the middle one looks all right.
No, he doesn't.
The middle
Look
one.
at his face. He looks like he's scared to be there.
I guess he's got kind of a dopey look in his eyes, but...
I don't know. This is terrible.
Well, there you go. On the plus side, it lost to 62, which sounded like this. Nice sound. And that was Meloetta.
All right, okay.
All right, let's see what Meloetta looks like. Oh,
She looks
it's
like
one of these kind of Pokemon.
An anorexic.
Yeah, she does. She looks like an anorexic. Long, wavy, blonde hair. But
With
her
mold on
arms
it.
and her headpiece are like... Yeah, with mold on it, yeah. But her arms and her headpiece are like music notes, and her hair is like a music scroll.
I do like that. I'll be honest though. I'm making fun of the mold, but it does look good. Like it does have that
I
musical.
want to see what she looks like in 3D though, because I feel like that's the...
And that's her Aria form, and she has a pirouette form. That's cool. Okay.
Oh yeah, everything's kind of wrapped up, and she looks more like a dancer. Dual normal psychic introduced in Gen 5, which was black and white. And how do you get her? Oh, she's an event Pokemon. All right.
Yay.
And in the most recent game, you can get her in the DLC. She was a tie-in for a Pokemon movie, Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice. So probably got her sitting at the movie theater on your DS while the movie was playing.
Damn. Those were the days, eh? You bring your DS to the movie theater?
I don't think I ever brought my video games to a movie theater. Anyway, she got knocked out in the second round, so didn't last too long. We liked her for one round. Better than the dopey monkey, but not by much.
But still, I like the look of this one. I usually badmouth all the legendaries, but this one actually looks pretty interesting.
All right, in the next round, 25, it was 35 versus 94, and here's 35, the loser.
Regirock. Does it sound like a rock? It's Regirock, yeah.
And Regirock was Gen 3, so Ruby and Sapphire, and was kind of that generation's tri-legendaries, Zapdos, Articuno, Suicune, Entei, and then the Reggies. So we've seen a few. I think we've seen a couple Reggies in the tournament so far.
Regifusame.
Yeah, Regifusame. That's right. So yeah, he's a rock type legendary. Looks like a giant boulder with arms and legs, and and he's part of legendary giants with Regice, Registeel, Regieleki, and Regidrago. Some of those were created later.
I noticed they also have the same eyes, or like different configurations of eyes. That's pretty neat. I like that.
Do they all have the same number though? 6, 7. They got set. That one has 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that one has 7.
Wow. Oh,
So they
that's
all have 7
eerie.
eyes.
That's really eerie. Why?
Yeah, they all got 7 eyes. I
What
don't know
Game
why,
Freak is
but
trying to tell us?
if it was 6s, I'd be worried. But 7s are lucky, so they're just
But
going
you don't
lucky.
know. You don't know that. What if this is just Game Freak? What if it's their cry for help, and it's been going on for years now?
Maybe there's gonna be 7 of these at the end.
Oh,
So they already
yeah.
got 5. They add 2 more. There's gonna be 7
And that's when
altogether.
Game Freak collapses and takes the world with it.
That's yeah. Like the day Game Freak goes down, it's because the end of the world is here. That's just how it is. Game Freak is too big to fail. The new Pokemon game, by the way, comes out next week.
Yay.
Yay! Just putting that out there.
Sure,
Putting that
yeah.
little bit of tie-in. Just a little bit of tie-in. All right, and 35 lost to 94. Here's 94.
Oh, yeah, it's the lawnmower.
And that belongs to Corridon, which is from Gen 9, which was Scarlet and Violet.
Doesn't look like what I thought it would look like. It doesn't look like a lawnmower.
No, it doesn't look like a lawnmower. It's like a motorcycle. This Pokemon was actually very interesting because...
Oh, it is a motorcycle. Damn, okay.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle. Yeah. This one was very interesting because Scarlet and Violet introduced rideable mounts. And so this was actually a rideable mount outside the field, outside of the battles. So you could ride them around and go super fast, like Sonic and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a motorcycle-esque dragon. Fighting and dragon legendary Pokemon. You meet them almost at the very beginning, and you don't actually get them until a little bit later, but I think you can ride them around outside the field almost right from the beginning. And he's the title Pokemon of Scarlet.
Oh, okay. He's the title.
Yeah, he's the title Pokemon of Scarlet. And he represents the past. So Scarlet was about the past, Violet was about the future. The Violet Pokemon looks a little more technologically advanced. Even though this guy looks kind of technologically advanced, but...
Well, he's a motorcycle in the past. That's kind of weird.
Well, it doesn't take place in the past. It's just they're kind of like the designs are past versus future. But you can kind of see it. He looks a lot more biological. And when we see the other one,
It'll look robotic.
yeah. And yeah, so that's a pretty cool Pokemon. I like that Pokemon. I don't know. And it looks, to your point, like it looks legendary, quite frankly.
Well, yeah. Not every Pokemon looks like a motorcycle.
It only looks like a motorcycle when you're riding him. Otherwise, he looks like a pretty badass.
Well, his chest looks like a motorcycle wheel.
Well, yeah, it looks like a wheel.
And his crotch is also a motorcycle wheel. So really, he's riding on his crotch all the time.
There you go. Maybe that's how he gets around.
Or gets
Who
off.
knows? Yep, maybe that. Maybe that.
That's why he's so keen on having you ride all the time. It's like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, he likes it. But yeah, so that's... And he got wiped out in the second round also, which I'm kind of surprised at, because actually, in hindsight, I do like his sound.
Must have been against somebody even more impressive, like a chainsaw sound.
Yeah. Yeah, like a proper chainsaw. That's right.
A rusty chainsaw.
So, with that, that's it for this week. Ciao.